All right. All right. All right, let's see if I can do this. So I want to this. Okay. All right, so we have to make a bit of a change here with how we do things. That's going to be a bit problematic. Stack. Maybe stack value. Okay, so I want to actually deconstruct the type as it comes in. Which is a bit of a concern. Inline call global returns a value. This returns a value. This returns a value. Yo, what's up, Sir Elfman? Sorry, I didn't look over for like a solid 2 minutes. How's it going? Sir Elfman, Sir Elfman. Sir Elfman. Oh, interesting. Let me see. I have no idea how to fix that. I'm going to be honest with you. This was kind of like an abrupt thing. It says it's coming out both or evenly, left, right. I don't know how to test it. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how to test it. It actually might be me. Let's see. Check 1 2. Let's see. Check 1 2. Maybe it is coming out only the left. I don't know how to fix it. Hold on, let me see. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Oh, you're right. It is me. Hmm. This make a difference? This make a difference? Why is it only coming out of the left? Okay, how about this? Okay, how about this? Oh, okay, that's better. Oh, okay, that's better. I don't know how that got unchecked. I apologize about that. I don't know how that got unchecked. I apologize about that. What's up, Gold, Silver, Electrum? How's it going? What's up, Gold, Silver, Electrum? How's it going? Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program. I was watching Jay, the jank guy, the other day, and he was once again inspirational in many ways. And he was working on his fib benchmark, which of course I have spent many hours working on. And mine was like 2x, like steel was like 2x slower than closure on the JVM. And so I went and took a look, and I was missing some dumb shit. So I fixed it very quickly thereafter. So now we're like only 1.5 times slower than closure on the JVM. And there's a few more things I have to do to get back that extra bit. So I was trying to work on that. Did he switch to it? And gold, silver, electrum, I'm doing well. planted a lemon tree over the weekend. Spent a lot of time outside. The weather has turned. It was like 86, 88 degrees here. I don't know what it's like elsewhere in California, but it was really nice here. If he switched, or what, has he always been using Bohm? Beam? Bohm? I don't know how you pronounce it, to be honest. I only read it in my head. Yeah, that was the problem. When I moved here, we had 3 trees, and they've all died since I've been here. They lived long lives, but so I took the last lemon tree out and put a new one in. And we have 2 more trees to put in. So like the next couple weekends, I'm just digging holes. Nice. Okay, so I take it you use Bohm. Again, if that's how you pronounce it. I 100% agree. I love gardening. It actually is really fun. Firefox has a GC? Oh, you mean like Firefox? Well, okay, when you say Firefox GC, you mean the... Okay. I was confused there for a second. I'm crossing wires. Yeah. My performance, I have 2 problems in my JIT. And the first is that it's just like a baseline JIT for the most part. Like I do some optimizations, but I don't spend very much time optimizing. It's just kind of like one pass over the bytecode with some flow-based type analysis. But the issue is I have 2 fundamental problems. Is that Steel uses 16 bytes for the value, which is obviously less than ideal for many reasons. The flow-based analysis gets rid of a lot of it. Like it does untagged unboxed. So the flow type checking plus inlining removes a bunch of that. So it's not, I don't think it's as big of a deal as it seems when it gets down to it, quite frankly. But it is chunky. But I'm kind of like married to it to a certain extent because that's what the VM uses, and the VM is designed for embedding first and foremost. So as a result, I used I wanted something that was easy to interact with from the embedding side. Which, again, if I were to do it all over again, I wouldn't have done that. I probably would have gone straight for like NAND boxing or something. So when I say boxing and unboxing, I don't necessarily mean heap allocated. I do just mean like instead of it being like all of the primitive types are unboxed by default, but they still come with their tag. So then as a result, it's 16 instead of 8 bytes. And then everything else that's not a primitive is ref counted. So I'm not using a GC. Well, I do have a GC, but I'm using the native allocator. Only boxing you do is for a universal any type that I just pointer tag each type ID. Yeah, so I have that as well. But I also have like, so do you only have one? Yeah, so you can embed like arbitrary classes, arbitrary structs, whatever. But then there's a bunch of like natively understood types as well. There's a bunch of natively understood types that are heap allocated, which isn't as big of a deal in the JIT necessarily, but having it makes doing like the type checks. Okay, so you put. Does that make it? Are you? Does that make it hard to specialize at all in the JIT, or are the type IDs known, or are you even JIT compiling for that matter? I have no idea. I remember you sent your project at some point, but I don't quite remember. Okay, so if you know what the type IDs are, then effectively the same. Same idea. But yeah, right now, because I didn't know any better when I wrote this, the calling convention is less than I like the return types. It returns a 128 bit integer, which is quite frankly kind of dumb. And I realized mere days ago that I didn't need to do that, and I could have just returned like the signature in which I declare could just be like a tag plus the value, and it would all just like work for the most part. Yeah, exactly. I learned also I learned recently, I suppose. It's been a few months at this point, that like fat pointers don't have a stable layout, which makes total sense. It's not like that's not strange to me, but also I'm like there's only two things in it. So it is kind of annoying that it's not well defined. Cuz I don't really understand under what circumstances you would swap it, but that's just it's fine. But yeah, I've also been doing a little game dev. Got back into it a little bit. Have been working on an RTS game, and that has been fun. I can show the RTS game. Yeah. I was goofing around with some other stuff earlier, so it's a bit of a oh shoot, where is it? I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to like make a spin on the genre that is I don't know, interesting. I don't know how else to say it. But I found this asset pack. And I like the asset pack. But the game like plays pretty good. And I love I added like little animations so that it's like Paper Mario. So this is just Rust, but there's steel in there. Not too much yet. I'm still like deciding what I want to do with it. But I like the little dudes. The little dudes like when they change directions. I love the little swap. But my plan is like I want I don't know, I was goofing around with like well, first I wrote it with Raylib because that's what I was familiar with, and then I decided to learn or to start learning WGPU. So I swapped to that. And then I have been screwing around with steel and I want to write the AI with steel. And then I was thinking, like, I was trying to come up with a different spin on the genre. So I was like, you could put like a deck builder in an RTS game, but that's like a lot of work, like a lot of work for the player. So the other thing I was thinking was like you could define okay, I mean, when I say I hand rolled my own WGPU stuff, I took only what I had done with Raylib and converted it. And there's a lot that's broken. So it's a very minimal demonstration. Um so like I basically took every function that I was using with Raylib and I said, I'm gonna make this yeah, it's not easy. I would not consider myself an expert. I started working on some bindings for steel, where I could like basically I was just going like function by function to expose the API to steel, like over a dilib. And that was helpful with learning what the heck is there. I'm gonna do that all over again. Yeah, Raylib is awesome though. I don't really, I don't know why I swapped away from Raylib. I think I just got bored, kind of, quite frankly, which is like not good. I think it's the curse of like the Rust developer who never makes a game and only makes engines, kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Raylib's really good. It works really well. But yeah, I just I don't know. I'm gonna their multiplayer works on that game, so I think I'm gonna get it to a point where I don't know. I could like release some binaries for fun. People could play if they want. But I want to eventually like my goal through all of this is I've been working on benchmarks for steel for quite some time. Like I'm taking all the R7 RS benchmarks, right? And I just like work on them. And it's quite frankly exhausting because it's not like code I would ever use. And so I'm trying to like make more stuff with steel that I can then benchmark against. And I'm like, well, a game's kind of good. So we'll see. Yeah, just trying to have some fun. The benchmarks are exhausting, especially when the benchmarks write like I'm comparing against schemes that they just have different like access patterns. Things are a little different. Why did you make it slower? Because it was fun. You had a specific desire. I actually have no idea how I'm gonna do this. I'm like, oh, that's another. That's a yeah. Like right now, I eagerly push and pop to the VM stack, and that's like a huge amount of my slowdown. So I'm trying to come up with a better way to do that. Is yours in C? C? C++? C? Been thinking about writing some C lately. There's all this Zig drama too. Thinking about writing some Zig. But like the Call of the Void, C is it's calling for me. I mean making it slower for that's the same reason I use 16 bytes for the values, because at the time I didn't know any better, but also over time I was like, you know what? I don't really want to unbox all my shit everywhere I use it. I mean, what else would you have used besides C when you sat down to make it? Oh, that's fine. Unsafe Rust is just harder C. It's actually really funny, like kind of embarrassing, but kind of funny. I uh I was like faced with a function signature in some C++ code that was like a pointer to some data and then a size, and it took me like 15 minutes to realize it was a slice. I just like stared at it and I was like, what the heck is going on here? And then it was just so foreign to me because I hadn't looked at that in forever. Did you take like Axum or something, or one of the many web servers, or did you hand roll it? The web server. Oh, nice. So I take it your engine's spin up time is fast, 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 fast. I did that for a while with steel. I goofed around with it. Okay, so the issue I have here, what's again, I forget what the language was because it was many months ago that you linked it. I'm not suggesting you need a reason to do anything, but did you have a reason for doing it besides learning? Like, was there some idea you were trying to test out? Just fun. Okay, that's good. That's a great answer. I find like I do like to write steel. It's also kind of tough because I really like to write Rust. And I'm not sure which I like more, but I think I like writing steel more. But then I run into problems with it because I haven't like more shit to do, and then it's just like a never ending. End up writing Rust a lot, but I write Rust at work, so it's nice to write steel every once in a while. Um. Okay. So I mean that makes sense. You go for the C then. All right. Maybe. Oh, this is gonna be a nightmare. I don't know if I got that dog in me tonight. It was like a big effort. The Zig C compiler to get the older version. I had to do that for something. I don't remember when. I mean, doesn't everything sort of eventually have libc in there somewhere? Unless you hand roll the syscalls. I do want to learn Zig. I think when Lib Rust coming out. Isn't that what the Redux guys did? They implemented their own libc, but it's just Rust. I think. What you been up to lately, Mr. Gold Silver? Any new games? Making new games? More Ratatouille stuff? You see that Ratatouille thing that came out yesterday? Oh, no way. You got a job. Where at? You writing code or not that kind of job? Like a real job? I'm just kidding. Writing code's a real job. Maybe not for long. I don't know. Yeah. It is crazy. The shit's getting really good. It's annoying as hell. I don't think it's better than the code I write, but it do be spitting code out. And I hate it for sure. What's the domain of the Rust code? I know, I got to turn that off. I'm sorry. I'm just clicking the button so it comes through. Don't worry about it. That's what I thought. That's why I thought you would have known. That's the bevy thing, right? The bevy ratatouille. See, but just imagine, right? Imagine I take the steel PTY dilib that I use for the Helix embedded terminal, and then I take the WGPU bindings that I wrote for steel, and I make my own terminal emulator, and it's steel the whole way down. See, now that's something. And then I write my own OS in steel. And now we're talking. Did you work on this at all or just the back end? It doesn't look like anybody else worked on it. I think it's just, what's his name? The Ratatouille guy. Like, directly. Steel terminal with steel. Steel. So you were out with the fabs? I'll look at the blog post after this. Imagine you had a fab in your backyard, though. You know? Where are your residuals? It sounds like it's basically your project. I want to learn about FPGAs, but I need more money first. You should at least get 51%. Yeah, get loan from government. 100 mega, that's pretty good. It's pretty fast. Y'all like big files, perchance? This file's got 11,000 lines in it. If I had $5,000 laying around, I'd get an FPGA. Bro drops into rage bait. Yeah, it's I have poked I have thrown steel into the LLMs before at work. Don't tell my employer. And it just doesn't do anything. It struggles really bad. Like it just makes shit up. Like I don't actually like do anything with it. I just open it up. And then I ask it like some bug or something, and then it just spins and spins, and then it spits out trash, and I go, all right. I mean, if it found 3 bugs, that's pretty good. I'm sure it would find real bugs. I was asking it hard bugs. I'm sure I could find small bugs. I have no doubt. They're getting good. I think they're good at very constrained tasks. Very constrained tasks. Like I have a very, very, very large work project, and the architecture is really good. And I wrote, like, when I say the architecture is really good, I just mean like I think it's really good. And I wrote like, look, if I had a choice, I would never interact with them. But unfortunately, at work, I actually don't have a choice. Like this is a genuine like if I didn't engage with them, I would no longer be employed kind of conversation. I just really despise bro's working at OpenAI. Bro is working on Codex, Ratatouille. Am I right? No, okay. Is it like an AI startup? Or is it like a big AI? You maintain this. What is this? Okay. Nice. I mean the emojis in the about is certainly something. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing. Let me see the website. Build AI application. I mean, it looks cool. Aesthetically, looking at the docs. Looks like there's real people using it. That's cool. But yeah, like at work, I wrote like 70,000 lines of this one project, and then it's like we have some very lofty ambitions to do some more stuff with it, and then I set up, but like part of that was I needed a new tree sitter parser for a different language that the tree sitter parser is really not that good. Like it's not, the grammar's very complicated. And I was like, I could just spin up 8 VMs with Claude on the maximal effort with dangerously skip permissions, and I could give it the test suite and the tree sitter grammar, or the real test suite and everything, and say, let me know when you're done on all of them, and then walk away. And I did that, and it got close to 100% on the parsing test suite. I didn't look at the result, and I'm not sure if we're going to use the result, but it was like, that's not horrible. That's not like the worst thing ever. Like, was it the bedrock thing or something? Why not on AWS? Not that I have any love for them. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think if you have something of merit that is pretty good and has a really solid foundation, you can probably get little marginal incremental improvements on top of it without much like intervention. But letting that shit rip, and it's a recipe for disaster. Also for performance, it produces some of the slowest code I've ever seen, and I have to constantly get in the way, which is good. I mean, like, it's fine. It's better for my job security that it's not good, but I don't really know what I'm trying to do here. I'm gonna be honest. Let's see. Encode float bitcast. Where do you see that? Is that on my screen right now? The crane lift. The spilling is, if you're referring to where it says spilled, that's me. It's not crane lift. It does. Crane lift is, the API is really nice. It has all the good things. You do have to build some stuff on top in order. Can you give it non-sequential cases? They have jump tables and switch statements, and I believe yes you can for the non-sequential cases. I think it's like just a test condition and then like values against. Waiting for the heat death of the universe. I just don't understand. Why do you like Rust this much? I'm going to be honest. This is like a genuine question. Feels like a little unhealthy. Why does everyone like WASM so much? I don't understand. Is it just so that like you can connect to a website and have that shit run? Like, is that the only reason? Because otherwise, like, it's just a browser. Why is it the only option? It's, like people can download files, right? And like open it. Is it like the cross-platformness? Like that, I could believe that. I mean, I know it's the only option for the web. But like, what if you don't care about the web? But again, like, what if you don't care about the web? And what if your goal is to distribute through like normal channels? I guess it's like it feels like it's catering to a niche of like, I'm gonna put my game on itch.io and someone clicks the play button. Well, if you want to sandbox plugins that run natively, you can use Steel. So there's that. The entire WebAssembly industry collapsed to their knees in a cloud native restaurant. I tried using WASM for plugins one time. It's very painful. Like, it works. Very painful though. I didn't enjoy it very much. Mm-hmm. You ever read like a type theory paper? That'll make you feel dumb. Oh, well, there you go. There it is. Just complete gibberish. Um, What did I do? Yo, what's up, man? I gotta review your PR. Don't worry, I'll do it. It's been a busy. It was a busy day at work, and I didn't feel like looking at your PR. So it does. What is that called? Structural type stuff or whatever. I forget what that's called. Types are overrated. That's my take. I will get to it though. There's been some rumors of organizational changes at my current employer. I might have a lot of free time. I'm currently optimizing the JIT. I mean, the thing is, it's a large company, so there's always potential layoffs. You'll never know, right? It just happens. But yeah, I'm working on the JIT. I did some profiling the other day, and then I managed to get Fib much faster, classic, but alongside all the other benchmarks too. It wasn't just Fib. But Fib was the one that I noticed the issue in. So now I'm trying to see why this doesn't work. I love these crane lift errors. I mean, it's just because I changed one line. Oh. Why does not why does it not work? What does iSplit do? Low key Java on the web goes crazy. What am I doing wrong here? I if there's one Java defender left in this world, it's me. Everyone else is going to be like, oh my God, I love Rust. And I'm going to be sitting over here like, what about your bean factory? You know? Where's your bean factory? Why does this not work? Abstract bean factory. Exactly. What is it? Arg would type failed to. I reduce. What is does I split? Does I split not work? Strategy. You're talking about the strategy pattern. Oh wait, I don't have to reduce it. Right. It was just complaining because it was already that. Love that for me. Yeah, well, how about this, Mr. Rust Enjoyer? I'm writing Rust code and I just seg faulted. How's that for you? I'm joking. It's my fault. I mean, you're talking to the guy who only writes Rust code, so I mean, it is nice. It is a nice language. What if I just hit him with this? And I didn't think. Is this vibe coding? Oh, would you look at that? And then yeah. All right. Yeah, the underscore. I mean, I just don't need it. Complaining aside, I don't need to bind it. I did. You know. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna be real here. I think C sharp is a good language, and I'm not afraid to say it. I think it's a good language. In fact, I would say that C sharp is in my top 3 languages. Speaking of vibe coding, why is everyone doing it with steel? Because no one wants to learn it. It's exhausting, man. To be fair, I think I am using one of the vibe coded plugins, but it's really small. So there's that. I don't think it required vibe coding to implement, quite frankly, but that's okay. I'll allow it for the purposes of the 20 lines of code that I ended up yoinking. It's just the one that does the cursor shit. You have to add a what's it called? The shader to Ghosty, because that's what I'm using right now. Because I accidentally broke my WesTerm installation that I was using. Because I screwed something up on the build, and then I upgraded my OS, and I haven't reinstalled it yet. But all it does is it just adds a bunch of hooks that make the cursor flick in and out, so that because like Helix overrides the cursor from the terminal, so it doesn't know to like actually draw them. So all this does is just adds hooks where it's like, oh, when the buffer changes or when you move the cursor, it just toggles insert mode. So then it makes the thing go. And I was like, that's neat. So I yoinked it. But yeah, you're right. There's so many that are just vibe coded. I don't quite understand. I do not get it at all. I think it's because to quote Kim Kardashian, nobody wants to work anymore. Myself included, I would love to be retired. All right. A little better. Yeah, if I was retired, I would walk my dog 3 times a day. I'd hit the gym and I'd work on steel. And then I'd cook a nice dinner. That'd be my day. Okay, I agree that it's a little lacking. I do not believe that it is very lacking because I literally wrote docs for like every single function that I put into the code base. I think it does need like a here's how you get started kind of thing. That I will acknowledge. But I want to merge your thing because I want to use your tree sitter thing because it's cool. Okay, that's faster. That's faster than it was. All right. Okay. Anything else? Let's see. I can test the other benchmarks. Okay, that got faster. Like a lot faster, actually. Okay, that's really nice. Okay. This should be like 3.3, 3-ish. 3! Nice. See, what's crazy about these benchmarks is that Steel's running pretty fast on these now, but Racket runs like 10 times faster still. That's what's crazy. Let me see. I think it's like here. Yeah, like lattice. So this is 10 iterations. Racket runs in 3.7 seconds, and I'm running in 3.7 seconds in one iteration. So steel's sitting down here. But this I understand why. This is List's problem. And it's on my to-do list to work on. But like fib, I think this is, what do they say? Like, this is fib of 40. Let's see, what is fib of 40? Probably a long time. One second. Okay. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. Yes. Tutorials for sure. I agree. But then the trillion-dollar question is, does anybody write code anymore? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, super nice guy. Met him at the grocery store. Just chill dude. Writes a lot of code. Just for fun. Not professional or anything. Just like Linux. Just like a crazy sentence. Getting the itch to handwrite a bit lately. It's like what a crazy world we live in. I need to find a domain that isn't yet completely ruined. See, cool project would be computer vision on handwriting to write your code. That would be cool. A game about group theory. What if we made a game about gardening? Called it Steel Dew Valley? Could be the move. Group theory like category theory? Or something else, if I'm misunderstanding. Like the math subject. I do like math. Yeah, handwritten code, OCR compile. That would be pretty cool. Are you perhaps a math major? Or a computer science major currently? Master's, PhD. Yeah. Only people I know talking about category theory are those who have studied the blade. Okay, Matt, you see that checks out. You're you're directly exposed in the current in your day to day. Do you also have a katana? Study the blade. My buddy went to Japan and he literally there's a pic we got a picture of him. He sent us a picture of him in a with like cutting some shit down with a katana. It was funny as hell. Man, look what they've done, man. Look what they've done to us. That I think my biggest problem is the motivation killer of the whole thing. Like for using it or not using it, right? Like it's like if you use it, you go, why should I ever learn this thing? I can just let it rip. And if you don't use it, you're like, why am I not using it and I'm wasting all my time slash I have wasted my time up to this point. It's like it's a catch 22. I don't really find that there's any way to win unless you like vibe code a B2B SaaS startup that gets acqui-hired for a lot of money. It is the dream. Oh man. Okay, but we had mission accomplished today. We sped up a little bit. We sped up a little bit of just ever so slightly. All because my unboxing was inefficient. And I can do this too here. Hold on one sec. The dog is at the door. Specialization. Yes. Yes. How effective is it? Moderately. But like at compile time with inlining and various all sorts of stuff, like during this compilation pass, I can do a bunch of stuff, including branching on the types and then like diverging so that one whole branch like is predicted to be the type of whatever foobar, and then after that I don't have any type checks and whatnot. That's where most of the speed up comes from. Is the like lean produce like it has an interpreter, right? Or whatever. Is it like usable? Like do you actually like run the lean code as an application? Or do you just like toss it away? Because I remember there was like Idris, which did like dependent typing, but it wasn't really about theorem proving, but like the resulting code was like usable because it compiled to like Shea scheme or Racket. So it was like moderately efficient. It's just like n+1 at a large scale or something. I don't know. Induction or something, perhaps. I don't remember. QED, maybe. Something like that. See, what's crazy is when someone asks you like which is heavier, a pound of feathers or a pound of bricks, and you're like, your brain immediately goes the feathers, but actually it's the same. It's just funny. Yeah, because feathers are light. And so when you hear feathers, you go, it's lighter. It's just what it is. I don't know. I'm coming to believe that the only real use case of computers is building video games. I think everything else is a waste of time. Video games are cool. It's like literally just fun. Everything else is a waste. The because I watched I agree, like anything that's just like a sandbox where you like goof around with no real intrinsic world value, besides like the love of the game, I think it's awesome. Anytime there's like a real thing with the world, I don't know, it's just not for me. Although I do think robotics, like animatronics, are cool, but like robotics, not as much. I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how to elucidate that point. But like, all right, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. I was thinking like how at Disneyland they can make like cars, but it's like real, but they're just cars, but they're like literally look like you're in the movie. Is the furry robot AI girlfriend also a rat? Like Ratatouille? But not the movie kind? The terminal uh the terminal UI library kind? The Firefox, it explains the Firefox logo for sure. All right, well, I might wrap it up here. Any other bleeding questions before I skedaddle? It was 88 degrees here today. It was a beautiful day, man. Maybe I build an RTS inside of Helix. That could go freaking hard, man. Holy shit. I did the RTS that I made is renderer agnostic. Because I had to do that when I swapped from Raylib to WGPU. So I could make a Helix rendering layer, which is basically what you did for Bevy Ratatouille. Because Helix is just Bevy, or it's, excuse me, not Bevy, Ratatouille, but older. So great question. What is a maybe stack value? So, the way the JIT works. So first and foremost, for any actual knowers in the chat, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't read any literature. I just make this shit up as I go. And then when it works, I go, hell yeah. And if it doesn't work, I go, dang. There's a lot of people who like read the papers, I used to do that, and then I decided that it's not as fun. So I just kind of make this shit up as I go. I'm not trying to be like, oh my god, I'm amazing and smart, and I invent things. What I'm hedging my bets and saying this might be like the wrong way to do things. But this is what I ended up on. Is that so Steel uses bytecode, and so this is my stack to SSA pass. So I say take my stack bytecode and convert it to SSA format, which is what CraneLift uses. However, the calling convention of Steel functions is that you have a pointer that says like this is the start of my function, and then when you call a function, you basically push those functions onto the stack, and then the top like n things on the stack are your arguments, and you access them like registers. They're just like offsets. So it's effectively like the function arguments are registers. So these are registers, and local variables also become registers because you can use them multiple times. A value is just something that's like pushed and popped. So during the compilation pass, if you like are reading a local where that local is a function argument, that would be referred to as a maybe stack value mute register if it's the last time you use it, or a register if it's like one of the any times you use it. If it's the last time you use it, you can do move semantics, so we can like elide ref count operations. If it's this, we have to like clone it because we don't know. So basically, I could have you have to keep a shadow stack is what I call it, but you have to keep a stack where you're mimicking your runtime stack, but just at compile time. But when I store them this way, where I have constants and then registers and values, I can basically do a bunch of shit where I don't actually read the values from the stack, or I can do like this is helpful because I can remove a bunch of stuff where the registers are just like indices at compile time. So for example, let's say I call a function that actually is Rust code and not like generated native code at runtime. So like I'm calling a library function. That library function could actually just operate on the value directly on the register, because I'll say like, hey, read it off of register 0. But at runtime, but otherwise, I've inlined all of my stack reads. So I'll do read from the stack at X register, at X offset or whatever. And then constants are this way because then I can specialize the constants. Hold on, the dog. So the long story short is a register, like this comprises my stack at compile time, which maps what the stack would be at runtime. And if it's a register, it means it's either a function argument or a local variable. And if that's the case, we also distinguish mute register, meaning it's the last time I touch this thing, and therefore I can remove it from the stack. And if it's a register, it's like a reference. And with these, I can actually also avoid doing ref count operations entirely, because they're effectively, these are effectively like runtime bar. They're basically bar checking. Like if I call car, like, list car on a register value, I don't have to clone the list out of the function arguments in order to call it, because the reference lives there it's already in the register. And then the constants is nice because if you're doing something like +1, you can just embed it in it. But this abstraction means like if I'm calling out to some external function, when I do so, I can like turn this into a proper Steel value. I just be like into value, right? Like call like to value, right? And this will say like, oh, encoded as a, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what it is. I was also thinking at some point that I will write like a book or manual. Much like I think like Guile has this, but like in proper LaTeX or LaTeX, whatever. Just have it be like professional as hell because it sounds fun, and write like 100 pages about steel. Kind of feels like the move, quite frankly. But I was also thinking about doing it in, what is it? Tipst? Yeah. Typest? Tipst? They ain't going to prove anything about steel. They're going to prove that it's shit, probably. They need to prove anything about steel, they can just ask me, is it sick as hell? And I'll go, hell yeah, it is. I bet Claude can't implement that proof or whatever. What if I forked Tipst and took their language out and put steel in it instead? What about that? That could be the move. Or what if I wrote my own game engine that is just a document browser and it just renders the text? You can add steel. Don't they have their own language? I don't think it's WASM. I thought they had their own language. So they're boring? Now I don't want to use it. You've said WASM. You've ruined Tipst for me. Where are these docs? No, they have their own language, but then you can also then put plugins into their own language, right? What if we designed our own chip? They don't have an interpreter or a VM or anything. They just use WASM. We used to live in a society. You don't see me generating the raw x86 assembly bytes right now. But I will eventually. That's the next step. I'll generate the raw x86 after the fab is up and running in my backyard. It's baby steps. I just could have sworn that they had like a VM. Like, Steel runs on WebAssembly. Like, the Rust compiles to the WebAssembly, and you can run Steel in the browser on WASM. I just thought that the TIPS interpreter, or whatever you want to call it, was like implemented in Rust, not in WASM. These are my preconceived assumptions and notions. Right. Okay. So maybe we're just chilling. Where's the code? Let me see the code. Crates. Tips to eval. It must be it. VM.R. They have. Okay. Who is spreading misinformation on the internet? Gold, silver Electrum spreading misinformation on the internet? I thought you were saying that they took. Like, what I'm trying to understand is, did they take like WASM time and they just shoved that shit into their thing, and that's the whole thing? Or are they saying like they have their own little VM, but then also they have additional plugins that they like call WASM time embedded with? Like that's what I'm just trying to understand. Like how are they calculating stuff? Oh, excuse me. WASME. WASME release. What is that? WASME? I've never heard of this. Am I crazy? I see. Okay, so I think we're all saying the same thing. We're talking around each other. They they have an embedded language. Like that's the thing you write tips in. That itself supports external plugins that are written in WebAssembly. It looks like they have everything. Kind of looks like the plugins just like produce bytes. But anyway, I still think I might do that. I might use tips, I might use something else, but I don't really want to bike shed over the format of the eventual thing that I'm writing because I feel like I would rather just write the damn thing, you know? And I do feel like LaTeX might make that easier in that like it's the thing that people have used for the last forever. But also tips is kind of cool from a from a ideological perspective. You know what shit lives rent free in my brain is the calc is short for calculator video. Y'all seen that one before? I say the word calculate or I read it and I go, it's just slang. Yeah, watch it. It's like one of the. It's got to be like. It's got to be top 10 videos of the last 5 years. Maybe top 5 video of the last 5 years. It's really funny. Okay, this is good stuff. All right, but when are we writing Nix? When are we re-implementing Nix from scratch? Just let me know. Say the word. I will be there. Yeah, call it Geeks. Geeks. Call it Sticks kind of goes insane. Sticks is really good. I gotta go. Hold on. Is it already taken on Crates.io? Probably. It must be. It's too good of a name. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sync first. 0 copy capture decode processing code media stack. It's got 20 downloads, man. All right. I guess it's also a configuration language. Oh, I can't use sticks. It's already used. No, it's like used by a real thing. The configuration language. Should we play a round of my RTS and then I go to sleep? We could watch the AI play. Should we watch the AI play? We'll watch the AI play. I don't really want to play. This is WGPU. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with this thing. You haven't played a game you haven't programmed? That's good. I gotta fix the mouse capture. It goes off the screen. Are they gonna attack each other? An infinite surf map? What kind of surfing? Like Counter-Strike surf? That's fun. I thought about using Bevy for this, and then I decided that it would be I don't know. Not quite my vibe. I don't know. I mean, so I thought I spent like a few days looking at trying to embed steel into Bevy, and I like largely succeeded. Why aren't they attacking, man? I gotta fix this. I like largely succeeded, but I realized that why aren't they attacking? Why are they just standing there, man? Who wrote this shit AI? It was me. Okay, now they're attacking. Yeah, I just don't really know. Like, yeah, blue's cooked. I just don't know why they're standing there and not attacking. Like, they should kill this thing. No one is attacking them. They're just getting attacked. I don't get it. Yes, so I looked at adding steel to that, and I thought that it would do more than it did. Okay, like maybe there's like a delay I need to tinker with. All right, there we go. Nice. I don't know. The last time, basically none of that is steel at the moment. I have a whole interface set up to make the AI be steel, and I also like. So I want to make the AI steel, and I want to make the I want to be able to define, like, I don't know how you describe it, but basically I want to like figure out a way to script unit behavior and have that be like user defined, because I think it could be fun. Where you could like define what like unit like groups of units do in a sort of like automate like an auto battler esque way, but you could define like behaviors for your own team. I don't know. And I thought that could be cool in Steel. And then also I thought about adding like a card or like a deck builder aspect to it, where you have like a deck of abilities that you can buy cards using resources during the game that you have built up with mining resources, and then you could like play them. I don't know. That's just, I'm working on it, all right? It's a work in progress. But the last time I tried to use Bevy, I looked at all of the sweet examples. I looked at like all the cool plugins, and I was like, this is awesome. Or not plugins, like crates and stuff. And I was like, this is awesome. This is really cool. And then I managed to get Steel running in it pretty easily. And I managed to get like hot reloading and stuff working like just in an afternoon of goofing around with it. I looked at BevyMod's scripting, and I thought it would expose like a lot more of the API of the underlying engine, but I think you still pretty much have to write all of the bindings yourself. And I basically stopped after after I got to that point. But my thing with Bevy is that I'm pretty interested in learning the graphics programming stuff, so I wanted to look at WGPU myself. And I also have like preferences for how to architect the game with respect to like layers and UI and like scenes and interactions between, like, there's just a way my brain works where I'm like, when one thing happens, like, how do you make another thing happen? It's like low-key hard as fuck, but I don't know. I think there's some okay examples I found that like it depends on the complexity of your 3D stuff that you're trying to do. Um, it's pretty low level, but there's no, not as bad. At some point, I want to have like basically this RTS. I want to convert it to be like an engine where the game is implemented in the engine, and then I could try to make a second game off of that engine and see if it works. And then if it's not, I just like, fucking go back to the drawing board, right? Well, that was a game that you could play. So, for the record, I'd like to establish that. And multiplayer works. So, yeah, exactly. I just want to what did I use for MP? My fingers. The Rust standard library. It's just TCP, I think. No, it's UDP. I don't fucking remember, man. I wrote that shit first, then I never looked at it. Have I tested the multiplayer in a month? No. It might not work anymore. You've brought up Iroh before when we were talking about my Catan game, which I also hand rolled, which I will finish. Just need to get the motivation back, which I think I have now. The game was like almost playable. I also thought about combining the games, where you could have a Catan game with an RTS. And I don't really know how that shit would go down. But in my head, it sounded cool. Real time Catan could go hard, but then you need like hexes. Actually, that could be really cool. Like it's an RTS game. I just don't know how to like pace it correctly. Like it's hard because it kind of like depends on multiplayer. And then you need to make the game length be reasonable. Well, I mean, like balancing, sure. I just mean like the fundamental gameplay loop is like if you have 100x sized map or whatever, right? You have to then like how long should a game be? 30 minutes? Probably 30 minutes. It's probably all right. I don't know. I'll stew on that. I could convert this RTS game to then have a Catan like element where you have like roads. Largest army is kind of intrinsic because it's just like largest army. And then, your resource element gathering. I don't know. I'll think about that. That could be cool. But I have an aversion to hexes. Don't get me started, man. Have you played recently? They dropped cache. I've played 4 games on cache. That was the first time I've played since October. I like hexes in Civ. If you should pick one thing to do, in my opinion, I would say WGPU game prototype. Draw some shit on the screen and then go to bed. You'll feel better. Tomorrow you can think about Steel Nicks. But like drawing a cube that rotates on the screen like goes insane. Yeah, I think your mistake, Mr. Firefox, was playing the game alone. I bet if you didn't play alone, you wouldn't been upset with the game. Because the only times I've played in the last, so I've played twice in 3 weeks, and I only played with a group of 5, and it was fun. Well, I think I am gonna go to bed though, but not a lot of code writing. I think I wrote like 8 lines of code here. However, I did some thinking, played some video games. It was a good time. I gotta clean this up. It's just too damn long. Literally, like Rust Analyzer struggles with this file because it's 11,000 lines. No, it's fine. I've been like honest to God, I streamed like a week and a half ago or something, like 10 days ago, 9 days ago. Uploaded the VOD to YouTube, got like 3 YouTube subscribers, and I was like, that's all I needed. That's the motivation I needed right there. So anyway, have a good night, everybody. Take it easy. We'll see if I'm employed tomorrow. And if not, maybe I'm streaming a lot. Who's to say? All right. Have a good night, everyone. Take it easy.